It is Sunday, March 24th, and this is the 24 hours of Bitcoin. Today we're going to have a little bit longer session as we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, and Litecoin in the same with the same indicators. Let's take a look at them now for the 24 hours of Bitcoin. Just a quick look at our disclaimer. You can pause the video to read this or click on the link in the description below. Today we're going to go through Bitcoin, XLM, which is Stellar Lumens, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And we're going to take a look at all of these with the same pattern of indicators because they're all making such top formations right now. It's a critical time to make a decision. So this is great to do a live stream and to record all of these details here. Let's see what we can discover. We're going to start off here with Bitcoin US dollar, and we can see our trend that we put together the other day has been breached. And you always wonder, when do you get out? When the channel is breached and this little 1, 2, 3 top formation has just been showing a tail down below? Or do you wait until this bottom formation? Do you wait until the moving average crossover? Where is your exit point? The truth is, for this kind of time frame, it's you know, they're all pretty much the same for the long term, depending on your leverage. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, so long as you choose one and be specific with it and be rigid with it. What we're looking for here now is some divergences in these indicators. Is this telling us that it's going to be going down? And so for my own part, and for you guys who are brave, I want your comments in the questions, your questions in the comments below. I want to hear what you're to do with the RSI for these things, because right now I'm looking at higher lows, nice and oversold here. Didn't get down nearly to oversold here. We'll see what this does. If it comes below these levels, we'll watch and see how that actually ends up breaking down or going up from here. It's such a decision point. This is why I want to go through and do this video and record what these things are showing us on the 1 hour. Zoom out to the 4 hour, because this is where we were looking at some divergence yesterday, where we could see we have kind of higher highs and lower highs here. So what's going on with the RSI? Not giving me the strong divergence that we're just about to slip off the face of this trend line here. Go out to the 12-hour bar and clear the stuff off. Am I seeing any kind of divergence? Higher lows, lower highs. So if you're doing something different with the RSI, let me know. Put that in the comments down below. Next, we're going to go through the unbalanced volume indicator. And this one is a really fantastic one for me. I've really liked this one since I started using it. What I like to see is that there is more selling here and less selling here. That's good. That's bullish. Well, it's good if you want the prices to go up. And we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. Let's clear this off and zoom out, because that's not showing me that there is a bearish break coming, except that there is more red than green here. It's dipping into the red more often. Nothing really deep and hard right now. We'll have to wait and see, because this was positive on the 1 hour time frame. Zoom out to the 4 hour time frame. We can see that we have weakening on balance volume, but it's still positive at this rate right now. It didn't dip down to negative when we're looking at this time frame, the 4 hour bars. The 12-hour bars, it has dipped negative a couple times. We noticed this yesterday, just as it made that bit of a red line. Let me now click on this one so that we can identify this red line before, at above zero going red and coming down. I like when it's below zero going green and coming up. Those are really good. So if this is some indicator that there's a big change in unbalanced volume coming, then we do see a general decline of unbalanced volume and then tipping negative with these red here. So that is something that is bearish. Let's go back and bring in the price. That is a bearish view on the 12-hour bar. So that we'll keep in mind, and we'll check out the other markets in a second here. Now, in the 1 week view, so that we're looking at the 1 hour bar, I am not seeing this diverging negative In fact, I'm seeing a positive divergence while these are almost even. So let's check it out on the 4-hour time frame, and I can expand this. This is looking weaker. This is coming down. Moving average has crossed over. The histogram is to the negative. This on the 4-hour is looking weaker. So we are getting some bearish indicators in a few different divergences, where here again we do have kind of a divergence here where it's weaker, and this is a little higher. So any of those subtle things we want to pay attention to and see how they all add up, and then especially after the move had gone through, come back, review what you were thinking, what did you predict the charts would do, and even if you're not trading it, to be recognizing these patterns and studying them so that you become familiar with them when you are trading them next time. It opens up more possibilities in your own trading. Let's go to the 3-month view, clear this stuff off. And also, not good in that it's crossed over and we have negative histogram. These are pulling apart. They're not coming together and showing that there's an end to this right now. At the same time, we do have a bit of an uptrend here, so we'll have to watch this right there and see what's going on with that in the next few hours as we're moving along. If this crosses over, and we're looking at the 12-hour bar, so that is more of a long-term idea. Nothing really jumping out hard bearish on me in all of these so far in Bitcoin. So when we go back to all 4 of them, this is a key indicator that all 4 of them are coming up to these positions and really testing them. And the thing is, as they're testing, there's quite a bit of volume coming in here. So there's going to be a decision made one way or the other. These are going to make a crack down here and overwhelm the bulls, or the bulls are just absorbing everything there is and it's going to continue to creep up, and the bears are going to get blindsided when that supply does run out. So what I want to do in today's Sunday special is to do much the same idea, but now for Ethereum US dollar. We're looking at the 3-month view. And what I'm looking for now are divergences in the RSI. So I'm seeing higher lows here and pretty flat long here. If this was diverged more strongly, I would be wanting to pay attention to that. But for now, it doesn't seem to be jumping out and giving me any direction strongly. Let's zoom in and see what we're seeing if we clear this off. I got to reload the page with Bitcoin in the background doing a bad data thing. All right. So now in the 4-hour bar, we're seeing weakness as we speak. And I like to zoom in on the 5-minute bars of these charts as activity is happening. And then I usually have that dragged over on a separate monitor so that I can just always glance up at it. Now let's go back and look for divergences in our RSI. Not seeing it. Even at the tip here, I'm still not seeing it on the 4-hour chart. And there it is again, 4-hour chart. Go into the 1-hour, and what do we see here? We got lower highs, lower lows, lower lows. So it's not diverging. It's following along pretty closely. Again, give me some tips on the RSI down below. If there's something more I should be looking for. RSI is usually only helpful for me in specific conditions when there's a double top and details like that. So this seems to be running. It's right on the edge. It's either running out of steam or it's going to be cracking soon. And I'm just not seeing any of the divergences that I look for. Now let's go and do Ethereum US dollar. On the 3-month view, looking at on balance volume, it is looking weaker as we come to this tip here. If I go to the 1-year view, so we're looking at the daily view, also weaker, more, but better from the bottom side, better trend. And still overall in the weekly, I didn't realize this. I hadn't looked at this, but the Ethereum US dollar is quite a bit of selling on the weekly. It still hasn't picked up. So that's pretty key right there too. And just to err on the side of making sure, let's go and take a look at that same thing on the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's not quite the same in that it does have a change to green on the weekly. It has turned around more than Ethereum US dollar. Very keen. Good to know. So zooming in, it is seeming to be losing the buying power for right now. And as we zoom into the 1 month view and the 4 hour, now we're starting to get more of the red. And what am I here? Let's double click on this. What I'm looking for is the red before the top. So a positive position, but a red candle coming down. I don't see them quite as much here. Let's zoom in one more time into the 1 hour bar. Now it's getting yuckier. I don't like this because we have such strong negative unbalanced volume right at the very tip of the iceberg, if you were, right at the very front of the train. So these are all at very critical tops, and great to be going through and documenting what is going on with these indicators right at this time, because we can come back later and double check to see what can we learn from it. Ethereum, US dollar, and now we're looking at the MACD indicator. So way out to the 5-year view, we're looking at the weekly chart, and this is the biggest long-term thing. We see the moving averages of the MACD is positive. I like it. It looks good. Let me zoom in on it just to see where it made a bottom and it's coming up. We have positive histogram all the way along this, so that's fantastic. Now when we zoom into the 1 year, 1 day views anyway, we see higher lows all the way along here as this whole thing is making a massive triangle. Very good. Let's continue to observe as we go into the 12-hour bars. I'm going to step out a bit so we can still see this same thing gathering higher lows all the way along here, all the way along higher lows, right from way back here, and prices are lower, but the MACD is crossing over at higher levels, so that's really good. And we're looking at the 12 hour, so let's zoom into the 4 hour. Now what I'm looking for is the crossovers that are giving me an indication of where this front tip of the whole train is going. If this were a, now this is not looking as good because we have this crossover already, and got to watch it closely as it is going a little bit negative right now. So nothing that says to me big dump. Even though I'm trying to see that, I'm trying to look for those divergences to the negative side, it's still saying to me that it overall got momentum to the upside, and this is just a internal pullback. And I've been proven wrong before, and I'll be proven wrong again. That's okay. It's not wrong to be wrong in your trading. In fact, you should expect to be wrong. And if it's not wrong to be wrong, it's okay to make mistakes, so long as you have a plan and what you're going to do with the mistakes. So what are we looking at here? Litecoin Rsi. I didn't do, yes I did. So now we're doing Litecoin Rsi for the long term. I'm looking back to see where is that super oversold RSI way back here. Way back when Litecoin also made its bottoms in 2015. What did Litecoin do? A lot more volatile with some big ups and downs. Huge step up and pull back. Oh my goodness, we're in for a big, huge step up again. That's what this looks like to me. And so we should see a long uptrending RSI, and it's really made quite a sharp move up. May pull back a little bit so that we are going to get that longer term uptrend in the RSI. This is what this gives me, and I see this one as much more bearish. Immediately, the RSI divergence jumps out at me, where we have higher, and this is a real clear divergence here in the RSI. And this is what the stuff I look for, and keep looking and looking and looking. Now let's see how much this divergence continues as we zoom in from the 1 day into the 3-month view. And even at this tip where we have these three, this is a divergence. So, you know, it's bending more right at the front of the tip, if you get my mental picture there. Let me clear that off and zoom in and take a look at. This is the only time that the RSI is showing a tick the other way. Overall, I'm still seeing higher and lower here with the RSI, which is bearish for me. And we'll see. So when I start zooming in, I want to see what is the tip of this whole machine doing. If this is a big long snake, as soon as the tip moves, you know the tail is going to be following that tip. So then I'm zooming right in this way just to see what is the tip doing right now. And you know what? I'm seeing a divergence to the other side in the RSI. I'm seeing a divergence to the positive side right off this double. And at this support and resistance, should prices come up and break above this, that would be something to really start paying attention to. Those would be really important levels. What about Litecoin USD on balance volume in the longest term? All right, this is better. I like to see that it's dumped and it's showing some strength and higher strength here on this. I'm going to zoom into the 1-day view. And this is a real change. Wow. And hello, the prices really did what this on balance volume is showing, where the selling stopped here. And then the buying started. And it's like someone switched a switch right there on December the 15th. And the buying started. And it's been just steady buying on the daily, on balance for the day. It's been buying and buying and buying. And it seems to be cooling back a little bit here. Who knows? But this is really fantastic to see this strength of buying. This is the first one we've seen that kind of strength of buying. Although it's tapering off a little bit and we are seeing a bit of selling at this tip here. I don't know. I don't know if the selling is going to overpower the buying. I think there's just an appetite worldwide for it. And when you have worldwide appetite of tens of thousands of people buying just a couple Litecoin and speculators trying to sell thousands of Litecoin, the few speculators just don't do it compared to the crowd. And the crowd isn't even aware that the speculators are trying to do their thing here. 1 week view, zooming in to the 3-day view. So we're getting big, these are really big buys, but then dumping regular and no big buying in between. So this has really got to switch to a positive. If we were watching this and we had this up on a screen, this would have to turn positive. Prices would have to break above these levels again before we really are rocking on this one. Now let's do the MACD indicator for Litecoin US dollar, starting out at the longest term view. Very good. Nice crossover to the positive. No questions there. This is also very good. I like that there's higher lows all the way along in the MACD while we have lower lows here. So that's a massive divergence. And they've come together and now we see what's going on. And when I see this chart, it actually makes me think that Litecoin is going to do something like this. And people will just go, oh my God. But it's done it before and it's coming up to such an important chart pattern. It's done it before. And that's what it looks like to me, is this building and building and building here. We'll see because there's not conclusive, not concurrence on these indicators, because the RSI really showed a big, clear negative divergence. Here we go, a little bit more negative divergence in this as well, actually. So we have the lower highs here and we have kind of higher highs here. That's not good. And then the crossover coming to the negative side, we have negative histogram. This does look like it's going to be pulling back from this indicator. And of course the RSI kind of agreed with that. What do we got here? 12-hour view. So let's go to the 4-hour view. And again, my eye is caught by the divergence here. It feels like this is running out of steam right there. So it's either got to blast straight up or it's going to be running out. Just by the look of what's going on here, more so with Litecoin than the others. All right. So there is the analysis of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Now let's go to XLM US dollar, 5-year view. So we're looking at the weekly. We can see we don't have a lot of history on it, so it's not that helpful. Getting into the 1-year view, and I'm starting to see pretty good RSI, pretty strong RSI in general. So we're going to have to zoom in closer to see what's going on for this, because it did get to an overbought territory pretty strongly here, and each time it's got that overbought, then it's really dropped back. Overbought and dropped back. Overbought and dropped back. So how far back was this going to drop after being this overbought? How far does it go down to the middle oversold before it's showing further declines? 1-day view. Let's go to the 4-hour. No, this is the 12-hour view. RSI, overbought, not really giving me strong divergences here. And if we are in a bull market, then it's going to be overbought and overbought all the way along as we're going up. That's just the way this indicator works. And correct me if I'm wrong, if there's more to the indicator on a bull market than that. But now I'm starting to see a divergence that I can actually get clear on, is this divergence here. Well, then we'll have to watch to see what is going on right at this technical level. If prices are breaking down below this is a little wee head and shoulders top formation, kind of. But certainly a break below these levels wouldn't be very good. And we'll be watching to see what the RSI is actually doing. Let's zoom into this is the 4-hour view. Let's zoom in now and see the 1-hour view. What are we doing here? Very oversold and spiked back up a little bit. No real strong divergences for me to sink my teeth into here. And that's the 1-hour view. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Zoom in a bit more, 15-minute view, and scroll back here. Are we seeing any trends in this that can give us a hint? Not for me. It's not jumping out. Let's go and take a look at the XLM US dollar, and we'll review the on-balance volume. So it's positive to begin with, a good dump there, certainly. And we zoom in, we can see that there's dump by lots of overall dumping, and then the volume changed on the 18th of February. So if this has changed like Litecoin changed on the 15th of December, then we're in for a run here. If this on-balance volume continues this strongly, it's really going to go somewhere, because we've got stronger on-balance volume as prices are moving up. We have strong, not that strong, pulled back a little bit, strong, really nice. Although it's pulled back a bit here, overall it still seems like we've turned a corner in this market. Let's go in a little bit. Now here's a divergence that I'll pay attention to as well. We have double bottom, and we have better selling here and less selling here on this equivalent low. So there's less selling going on at that point. Maybe that the bears are experiencing exhaustion here. They're running out of steam. They just don't have the selling power to push it down from here. Let's zoom in. And the same story again, where we have the big selling here and very little selling here to speak of. And that is the 1-hour view. When we go into the 15-minute view, now we're getting too close, and it's just not clear enough there. We can certainly see details in on-balance volume. It's looking really good for XLM. XLM US dollar we'll just do the 1-year view here. There's not that much history. However, this is a nice divergence. This is a nice divergence where we have, well, let me get the right tool here for drawing. We have lower lows, and here we have a crossover and higher lows through that very same period of time here. That's really great to see. And that it's remained going positive and positive as this is coming up gives me the feel that there's more coming. There's more on its way for this market. Zoom into the 12-hour bar though, and it may not be coming right away. We can see there is a crossover at just an ideal time here if you're taking this as your exit. And then we have negative histogram. We're looking at the 12-hour. Let's zoom in more to see if are there any divergences for this double bottom here. Nothing strong enough, and it's actually crossed over and looking negative. The histogram is negative, so that's not good on the what time frame? 4-hour bars. 1-hour bars, still not seeing it cross over and turn positive, and I would like to have seen that right there. Even on the 15-minute bars, this is not crossed over positive strongly to show that prices are going to be picking up off here. Is it this at all definitive? No, not at all. But on a break below these levels, this is a time to be testing out your short positions. And of course, like all risky things, you always start off by putting your toe in the water to see if it's cold And if the water is warm, then you can jump in when you're proven correct, when things are looking good. So no matter if you're putting on a position at the bottom and you're starting out and then you add on when you're proven correct, add on when you're proven correct, it would be the same thing when you're going short. You would look for the top formation, the 1, 2, 3 top formation, break of this uptrend line, and the moving average crossover, which we have right there on the 4-hour bar. So all of those things put together would give you the opportunity to be testing out, at least paper trading a short position from here. And thinking about what these chart patterns look like, what do the indicators look like when we're at a position like this. Fantastic time to be in the cryptocurrency markets. Now let's close her up by just taking a zoom in on what's going on right now. No answer, but it is a nail biter because we're right on the edge, right on the bottom edge. And of course, we know technical analysis prices will always come right down to this edge, test it and test it and test it. Once it breaks, it's really important. Once it bounces off there, it's going to be equally important, but it's got to be breaking above this nice sideways range now. Great times to be watching because it's such clear entry and exit points on these markets now. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. This is the 24 hours of Bitcoin.